What's up? Welcome back to the channel or the podcast, wherever you're listening to this. I'm your host, Mal Burden, and today I want to talk about starting your own creative project, whatever that is. Maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to make an album, maybe you want to make your own board game. I don't know what kind of incredible ideas you have going on, but I totally understand how challenging it can be to not only get started with your creative ideas, but also to stay consistent with them. And how do you help them evolve and change as time goes on? So that's what we're going to get into in today's episode. And the reason why this is coming up today is because we are officially celebrating 3 years of the podcast and 100 episodes. So props to all of us. I'm showing up here, but you guys are showing up as well and showing your love and support. So I really appreciate that, especially over the years. We're going to get into it, but it can be to embark on a creative journey is literally to go through a process of self-discovery, self-love, and self-expression. So it's a whole thing. It's not just about what you're trying to create, but it's literally it's a soul journey. Okay, so today that's what we're going to cover, and I just want to, if you're in this space where you have all of these ideas, or maybe there's one idea that keeps coming to you that you're just like, I feel like I need to act on this. I feel like this keeps coming up for a reason. Like, honey, it is coming up for a reason. It is. There's absolutely, like, the fact that you are resonating with an idea means that that's your idea. That's a little seed for you to take care of and to help grow and nurture. So I just want to encourage you. Or maybe you are starting, or you've already started your project, whatever that is, like you're on your creative journey, but maybe you feel a little stuck. Maybe you are feeling like, is this even worth it? Girl, I have been there. So the main point of today's episode is to really tap into the fact that you have your own unique energy and vibration that is completely necessary to emit out into the world. Like, we're all connected in some way or another, and we're responsible for the ripple effect that we are creating out in the world. So I just want to support you, cheer you on as you radiate your own unique light and emit that onto the world. Okay? So let's get into part one. Okay? There are 3 parts here. Part one is all about getting started with your creative project, despite the fear that comes along with that. So many of us as creatives, we have all of these ideas, but before we even get started, there are all of these what ifs, but I should do this, I shouldn't do that, how am I going to do this? It's like we're already setting up these obstacles that really make it impossible to get started. So, like I mentioned before, it's like to actually commit to and embark on a creative project, to create art, whatever it is for you, is really a journey of self-discovery and self-expression and self-love. It's both parts exciting, but also freaking terrifying, because you don't know what you're going to uncover once you start going down this path, right? And once you get so far along, you're like, I don't know if I can handle this. But the thing is, you can handle this. You wouldn't have the idea if you weren't capable or if you weren't ready. So when we are coming up with the creative project that we want to commit to, the first thing is it has to inspire and resonate with you first. I think so often with social media, we are maybe taught to always resonate with our audience, make sure it's, a part of a niche. And it's like, time out for a second. Like, if I'm not resonating with what I'm creating, it's not going to resonate with anybody else either. So that's the first step, is coming into what are you actually inspired by? What is lighting up that inner spark within you right now? What are you just genuinely curious about? That's first. And then the second part of this is forgetting what is actually out there and showing up in a way that actually feels natural for you. I think sometimes there can be like templates of how we're supposed to show up, even online, just like trending audio, whatever, like whatever kind of trends that we see on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. And it's like, what if you're not supposed to be doing the trends? What if you're supposed to be creating the trends? There's going to be a time when we're over the trends, right? Like the pendulum always swings one direction or the other. We are so trend heavy right now. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be swinging the other way and be focused more on unique individual expression and craving to see something that we haven't seen or heard a million times before. So sure, it can be interesting to do research, see what maybe your favorite artists or creatives are out there doing to spark that inspiration, of course, and knowing that it's okay to show up completely differently, show up in a way that makes sense for you. And then the other part of starting your creative project is just get started. Okay, like you can edit this shit later, you can evolve it later. Like, so often we get into this mindset that, oh, I have to make sure it's all strategic and it all makes sense and every detail is accounted for, and I have to make sure that whatever I put out, there's not 1 ounce of possibility that I'll be judged or criticized or whatever it is. And it's like, honey, getting it done is better than getting it perfect, because if you're spending so much time trying to perfect something and you're not even putting it out there, then you haven't even done it. Like, you're not even playing the game. Like, I hate to be like that, but it's true. I used to spend hours trying to come up with the perfect content strategy and create like such a cool like content calendar. It's like, bitch, you are spending so much time on this calendar, you don't even have any energy or motivation or inspiration to actually create the content and press send. It's basically just a way for us to feel like we're in control of something. And it's like, you just got to press post. You just got to show up. You just have to get started, even if it's janky at first. This actually reminds me of when I started the podcast. It originally started Pep Talks with Mal, is what it was called. And that is because I would be in my car driving, and that is whenever I would give myself pep talks. That is how I worked through some of my shadows. That's how I was working through some of the emotions that I was trying to navigate at the time. And this is something I still do. But I was like, you know what? I feel I feel motivated by myself. I wonder if I should record this and just see if it resonates with other people. So I would literally be in my car recording, no microphone. You could hear, you know, me going over the rumble strips because whatever I was driving, you could hear the rain on my windshield. It didn't matter. What mattered was I was showing up. And even if people only listened to the first minute and they were like, oh, the sound quality sucks. I continued to show up, and that helped me get reps in. That helped me understand how to better show up. But it was just a way for me to begin to gain confidence in myself as a creative, as actually pursuing something that interests me. So just get started. Literally, just get started. It does not have to be perfect. The whole thing with creativity and it being so linked to our own personal self-discovery and expression is like, it's always going to evolve. It is always going to change and transform and grow, and like, allow that to happen. If we are too perfectionistic about what we're putting out there, it's basically saying we aren't approving of ourselves. We're not good enough yet to be seen. And that is not true. That's not true. Just get started. Okay, part 2 here. This is all about, once you've started your creative project, whatever that looks like, you're getting your reps in, you're still trying to figure it out. Like, you're getting your hands dirty, you're figuring out as you go, right? How do you stay consistent? Because creative projects are really just like an exploration. You're really just like experimenting with different ways of working. You're really just in a process continually. So how can you stay consistent in this process, even though you are going to feel discouraged at times? Hands down, you're going to feel discouraged sometimes. And it's like, in these moments, it's like we question if the work we're putting in is worth the effort, right? Especially when our ego kind of is driving here, and our ego is really craving those external wins and the validation from outside sources. Now, when we get discouraged, those are really important lessons for us. They are lessons in disguise, and not in a sense that, oh, we're being punished. It's honestly, if we can come at it from this perspective, I am so grateful to have this new opportunity to shift my mindset, shift my perspective, shift how I'm engaging with this project, with my creativity, with my self-expression, with this thing I am building, right? So, how do we stay consistent? Our why has to be bigger than external engagement. And that could be positive validation, that could be negative validation, or neutral validation. But the reason why we are creating, the reason why we are showing up, the reason why our soul feels called to create this particular thing has to be more important than any type, positive or negative, validation, commentary, whatever, that we can receive from the outside. So it's really important when we are starting a creative project or re-engaging with a project to establish what that reason why is. And it could be a lot of different reasons, right? And, sometimes it is, oh, we want to help other people. And we have to be a little wary when, again, our why is more external, because we have no control over that. We have no control, really, of whether or not we're going to help other people. We can have a hope, we can have that intention, but maybe there is a deeper why. Maybe the why is, my soul craves to be expressed in the most genuine, joy-filled way. And whenever I engage with this project, this piece of art, I truly feel like what is that feeling? You know that feeling when you listen to this song and you get goosebumps, you get chills everywhere because it just resonates. It means something. It means something. So it's engaging with that inner part of you, that inner knowing, your soul, your intuition. But whatever, you'll know what your why is. The other part of staying consistent is, and your why could also be a feeling too. I just want to say that too. Like, if your why is, I want to feel pure bliss, and every time that you engage with your creative project and your intention is to feel pure bliss, that's it, babe. That's it. Okay. The other part of this is building a supportive structure to create within. So, what I mean by this is it could be environmentally, like, do you have a space where you feel you can fully be and express yourself? You're not getting interrupted, and you truly feel inspired. You feel that resonance with your soul in this particular space. And it also, too, creating potential time blocks for you to be able to create consistently. And if you've done the artist way, you know that each morning she encourages to write 3 morning pages. And that is also an example of building a structure that you can create within. Maybe it's, you know, that's how you start your day. In the later afternoon or the evening, when you get home from work or whatever it is, you have 1 hour of play time or focus time or create time, whatever it is. And it's almost like creating a ritual around this container for you to then express within. Um, when it comes to creativity, I think something that can be very interesting is when we create boundaries and limitations for ourselves, it can actually spark more creativity. I don't know if you've ever done a writing project where, okay, you have 5 minutes to write a poem about grief, okay? It's wild how much you can create when you have those boundaries and limitations. So that's kind of what I'm saying here about creating a structure to create within something that works for you, something where you feel inspired by. I think with creatives, we don't necessarily want to be in a type A structured box all the time. So if we leave it a little bit more open, something that still feels in flow, that's going to be better, I think. And you'll know what works for you best. The other part of staying consistent is reflecting on the small wins often. Okay, this is all about validating yourself. We're not going to focus on this external validation. It is never going to be enough. I promise you. It is never going to be enough. So, what we do is we turn inward, especially in those moments where we feel discouraged. And that's a good checkpoint. It's like, let me time out for a second. What wins? What, it could be small, big, whatever. What have I not even appreciated fully? Like, when we don't stop and see all of the work we've put in, yeah, it is going to feel like, is all of this work that I'm putting in worth it? It's not going to feel like it because you're not validating yourself and acknowledging all of those small wins that you've stacked over time, okay? Something I think about. So, with my podcast, okay, 3 years, 100 episodes, I'm going to be real. Are my analytics, the numbers, the number of listeners, is it where I thought it would be? Not really. Not really. But like, I still try to show up because I know it's not about that necessarily. I know there are other reasons why this is important for me beyond how many people listen to it. But also, I was feeling down, and then I tried to be grateful, and I ended up getting an email saying that Mountain Express here in Asheville wanted to feature my podcast in um, one of their weekly publications, right? I was so freaking excited. I was like, yes, like this is what I needed to validate me and to reassure me and to keep going. And it was great, right? It was cute, loved it, very grateful. But let me tell you, right after I got the physical copy and I was like, oh hell yeah, like this is great. It wears off. It wears off. And where are you? You're stuck with yourself. You're stuck with yourself. So it's really crucial for us to validate ourselves and remind ourselves how far we've come and how proud we are of ourselves, because the external things will never be enough. They just won't. So that's all about staying consistent. Now, the third part here is evolving with your project despite the growing pains. So there will come a time when you're ready to evolve what and how you're creating and what you're expressing. That just makes sense, right? There may be unknowns in this process of, will this new way be received? Or, I had this clear path and now the path has disappeared and now I don't know exactly where I'm heading. But this means you're transforming. This means that you're growing. This means that you are embarking on a new path, a new chapter to reconnect with who you are today. Because who you were when you started the creative project is undoubtedly different than who you are now, right? And so it does require us to be real with ourselves. Do we still resonate with what we're doing? Are we kind of bored? Are we just showing up because we've started this thing and we're supposed to show up and people are expecting us and this is the exact kind of content or art or whatever that they're expecting? Mm-mm, mm-mm. That is when we get into creative droughts, I guess. And there's like a resistance. It's like, I don't want to create. I don't want to do that. It's because it's because it doesn't resonate anymore. And that's okay. What's exciting is this now means that you can explore what actually resonates. Like, that's fun. That's fun. Okay. We are now like open to all the possibilities. You have all the possibilities, and it's like, cool. Like, what are you going to create now? Like, okay, that was your old era, and that served such a beautiful purpose. Now, what's your new era? Like, it's giving rebrand. It's giving rebrand, and we love that. And actually, well, we'll get to that. But part of this is knowing that you're not stuck, you're just ready to evolve, right? Like, that was your old era. There's going to be a liminal space. Feels a little uncomfortable. But if we can lean into that process and lean into kind of starting from the beginning point of, what am I inspired by? What am I resonating with? What am I curious about? How can I just get started and experiment with this, right? And what is my why? Why am I even shifting? What has changed about me, right? Um, and with this, again, you're just gonna lead with curiosity, play, and experimentation. Like our creative projects are the way that we can acknowledge, express our soul, reconnect with our soul and our intuition. So when it starts to feel like work, when it starts to feel like a burden or a responsibility, we got to take a look. We got to take a look. And I know that so many of us, this is how we make our living. We create, and that's how we sustain ourselves. So I know there's a little bit of an energy exchange there. And I promise you, we tend to always be more successful, quote unquote, maybe financially, or even people recognizing us, even though it's not about the external, when we are truly in our joy, when we actually are curious and engaging with it from a perspective of, I am actually curious about this versus I feel like I just need to do this. Think about like dating, for example. Do you think a date is going to go better when I just feel like I need to get back out there and I just need to go on this date and whatever, versus, wow, like I feel really drawn to this person. I'm really curious about what their story is, like what do they do for fun? Honey, date number 2 is going to be way better because you were actually engaged with what you're doing. Okay. And then in terms of evolving with your project, it's interesting to note what things, habits, patterns, environments, connections, what inspires you and gives you energy versus what is now draining you and takes more than it's giving to you. I think when we're in this space of evolving to our next level and being in this liminal space, it's hard because we have one foot in our old life, our old ways of being, our old ways of staying safe, and we have one foot trying to dabble into something new, and it can feel like we're split. But coming back to what inspires you, what is giving you energy, is going to help alleviate some of that uncomfortable feeling of being in the unknown. And it will just help you gain more awareness around your own truth. Like, I think at the end of the day, we can evolve so much quicker and be way more aligned with ourselves if we would just be willing to look at the truth, not lie to ourselves, not say, well, they're really nice, so I feel like it's okay, like, and I want connection, and they're nice. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're nice. Like, okay, that's great, but does it fully resonate with you? What in your life are you no longer resonating with? It's not saying you have to cut that out completely necessarily, but it is worth looking into and seeing, okay, instead of, I've been going to the same type of gym class for so many years, maybe I'm going to try something else. Maybe my body is actually wanting to do yoga right now. You know what I mean? It's not saying you don't have to go to the gym ever again, but it's just saying be willing to explore how your energy is vibing with the different things going on in your life and being honest about it. It's fun. It's fine to be honest. Okay. And I wanted to mention here too is just, that's what happened for me. Like, I feel like with Pep Talks with Mal, it started one way, and as I started to have more guests on, I was like, I don't feel proud of this. Not saying I didn't feel proud, but it was kind of like this isn't really resonating